Finally, we're live. Good evening. And I've noticed there's quite a lot of people already on. I do apologise for the slight delay, folks. The problem I had was StreamYard, who we do these live streams through, had a number of glitches on their screen and a number of glitches overall. So they couldn't, let me just adjust this light. That's better. They couldn't, I couldn't get on. I couldn't get on at first anyway. I found a way around it. Evening to everybody. Where we are, we're with Mercy and Metal Detecting. Percy, how are you? Good to see you. William Morris. Lovely to see William from Scotland. And Ron Stevens, the legend himself. Darren, History Unearthed. How are you? Hope you've been out detecting this. Yeah, it's a funny time of year. It's an interesting one that you've just said there. End of the weekend, a little less depressing going to work tomorrow. I mean, when people say to me, I run my own business, so I don't feel the pressure of going to work on a Monday morning, believe me, it's just exactly the same. If I could retire, I would retire pretty quick. Baludicus, Jackie, how are you? Good to see you. We've got Andrew Tiffins on, which is always a pleasure to see you all, in fact. Now, there is a reason why I've done this live stream. Well, there's two reasons why. This is going to be the last live stream that I do through StreamYard. And the reason is because A, it's becoming mega expensive to do these. I've got to pay each month to do these live streams. I've got to pay StreamYard. And the price is just astronomical. I'm thinking, is it worth it? No, it isn't worth it. So we're going to look at other ways of doing live streams. I think we can probably do it through YouTube Direct, which will be better and more cost effective for me and us here at Unearthed. And it might give us a better experience of doing it live through YouTube rather than going through StreamYard. StreamYard's good, but it seems very glitchy at the moment, and they have got a number of issues. As I said earlier, I'm just going to adjust this light a little bit. Let's have a look what I can do and I can't do. That's better. So I'm just getting a bit of a glare off the screen. It will probably be the last live stream that we do through this platform. However, it's pretty simple to get people to watch via YouTube rather than Facebook and YouTube. We've got most of the people are now on YouTube watching it anyway. We've got a small number on Facebook. And if the people are watching on YouTube or Facebook, just give it a like if you can. It just makes it more relevant and it puts it out there for more people to join. Andrew Allen, I hope you're well. Dave Taylor, I hope you're well. Dave Taylor, that's an interesting one. He's just joined us this evening. Dave, found two. Did you find two rings today, Dave, on the beach? Gold, maybe? Sure, I seen you find a gold ring, but I've been distracted all day, so I've not had a chance to catch up on too much. Detecting with Dale's back. Good to see him, as always. And our friend John Branner, he's on board, and the Cumbrian YouTuber. So we've got quite a lot of people, which is great. And I can just see someone's give it a like on Facebook. Kurt Upton, thanks for that, Kurt. Anybody on YouTube, if you can just press that like button, that would be fantastic. Good to see Lawrence Hartley as well, and a whole host of different people. We're up to about 35. Yes, silver and gold finds. I've seen that, mate, which is great. I don't know what I'm pressing, by the way. Yeah, silver and gold. There you go. Look at that. Happy days. I'm just going to see if I can put a banner across just for the people that watch. Whether it works or not, folks, I don't know. There you go. See, this hasn't been available this evening from StreamYard, these things on the screen that you can see. I've only just, they've only just come up as being an available item to use. There you go. Who knows what's going on? Right, a number of things. Firstly, I'm just looking at my list of bits and pieces I've got. Now, not everybody will be interested in this, but I'm becoming more and more, the further you go down the rabbit hole, I guess is the right word, the more weird it becomes life with me. So I'm now classed as an official content creator. Now, whether I like that term or not, I am via Facebook, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. The world is now being pushed over to working this way, if that makes sense, to engage with people. Because here at Unearthed, we don't sit back and expect people to come to us and buy their equipment, for example, to keep a roof over my head. So I've got to go to the people. Now, we don't have millions of people plugging Unearthed all over the place, like you see on all over sort of places like Facebook and YouTube, for example. I do a lot of this work myself. I've got people like Dale and Jackie who do a great job in putting Unearthed up on their YouTube channels, which I think is amazing work that they do. However, outside of that, there isn't many that do it. So I've got to now actively think about me pushing myself out there to let, for me to come to the people rather than the people come to us. That's the way the world is now. The world of metal detecting is extremely saturated now. There's more and more shops opening up, more and more outlets. So we've got to change the way we work. Now, one of the ways we change the way we work is not being reliant on selling metal detectors, because selling metal detectors as a whole is pretty exhausted in so much as it's pretty saturated. There's probably, more, it's probably a bit overkill. If anything, there's probably people out there that have got metal detectors that I don't even use them anymore. So we've got to think outside the box how we can bring revenue in, and also, what's the word I'm looking for? Also think of new products that people would like to buy. So there is going to be a number of new products coming from Unearthed very soon, widening the net almost of accessories that are going to be available for the people that like outdoors detecting and that sort of thing. So we are pushing into other areas. I can't sit back anymore, folks, and be reliant on selling metal detectors. The live draws have changed the way the world works. New shops coming on board. The pie is becoming smaller and smaller. We just got to change. Now, I'm old enough and daft enough to realise that, but I'm not as good as some of these young, these young whiz kids out there on social media. Now, you will see a lot of interaction going on places like Facebook. So we put a lot of effort into digital creation on Facebook, metal detecting related stuff. So you'll see all these weird and wonderful shorts and reels that are going on 30 seconds a minute, just snapshots of different things. And I have to say, they've gone down really well. And I do heartwarmingly praise the people that follow us and like it, because at some point in your working week, people are going to say, God, not another post from Unearthed. Unfortunately, folks, I've got to do it. But it doesn't come with an element of easiness. It also comes with its problems. So we've been cloned twice. We've had a number of what's the word I'm looking for? People, cloning us, copying what we're doing, sharing our content as their own content, but it's also on TikTok and places like that. Because this day and age, you can't just be reliant unbelievably on just places like YouTube. You've got to be reliant on, well, hang on a minute, you've got to be interactive on Facebook. Oh, hang on a minute. You've also got to have an Instagram account. Oh, by the way, TikTok's good. So you've got to spread yourself across all these platforms, and it's very, very exhausting. I spend a lot of my time doing that. And I sometimes think, Melanie said to me yesterday, she said, do you not think you're spreading yourself too thinly across it? And I said, I think I am, but I'm already down the rabbit hole, and I've got to keep going, unfortunately, folks. Now, some of you might be aware of this. I'll just see if I can put it up on the screen. That's our new sister channel to Unearthed Detecting TV. I don't know if anybody can read that properly, but it actually says the Gadget TV channel. So the reason why I've set this up is because it gives me something else to get my teeth into rather than relying on YouTube's our main YouTube account. And it's if anybody wants to follow us on the Gadget TV channel, we've actually got 26 subscribers, which is nothing. But the reason why we do it is because, or I've started doing it, is because I have a lot of tools, gadgets, outdoor equipment that I can't necessarily show people on the detecting channel because it's not relevant. So for example, we started it last week and we've already had 1,200 views, which isn't too bad. 27 subscribers, and the first two videos we did went pretty much skyrocketed. 600 and 700 views and things. The latest one has just flatlined completely. YouTube have obviously kicked it out for some reason, but there's a lot of good content in there, and there will be coming up. I can promote and not promote. Promote's the wrong word. I can showcase gadgets, if that's the right word, gadgets, outdoor gadgets, without the concern and worry of people saying, well, you're going to promote that gadget because you sell them. These are not gifts of anybody. These are what I've got myself and I use on a day-to-day basis. So I just think it'd be a good little channel, a gadget TV channel, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it, and it's just a little bit different. So so if you feel a need to do it, subscribe to it, because I think you'll enjoy it, and it's free of charge. People think, oh, I've got to subscribe to a channel. It's not doesn't cost you anything. It's a free thing. There you go, folks. I just thought I'd tell you that. Let me just see what's going on here. I've waffled on that much, folks. I do apologise. I've just got to make sure I answer some people's comments. Slightly off topic. There we go. But the explosion in Dalton-in-Furness recently wasn't. No, it was just. Do you know what? Right. This week has been the most trying week I've ever known for a long time. Not just business-wise, but for personal reasons and just things going on in our lives. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. So, for example, this time last week, I had just got in from what we on. Yeah, literally just got in through the door from the dig that we had last Sunday, which some of you would have been attending that are on here, but you would have also seen the film where Darren Harvey found the Bronze Age flat axe, and there was numerous hammered coins found. Places like, people like Andrew Tiffin and people were finding some nice things. And I just literally got in the door. I was tired out. I got up at 5:30 that morning. And then I managed to sort of think about getting to bed at some point. And I just got into bed, maybe 10 o'clock. And there was a knock at the back. There wasn't a knock at the back door. There was a knock at the front window shout, which is directly above me here. And it was a neighbour, a very concerned neighbour, saying that the village here, which we live in, Goose Green, was about to flood. Now, what had happened was the river had burst its banks further up the road, if you will. And there's no streetlights down here. There's one streetlight, and then everything else is darkness. All the houses down here are completely in pitch black. And there's a culvert, and the culvert had blocked. At first, I thought it was a dead sheep that had gone in and drowned in the river and blocked the culvert up, but it was branches, leaves and debris that had gathered up over a period of time, and the water had nowhere to go, so the flood waters rose, flooded the fields above, into the house and the gardens above, and then worked its way down to me. Now I've got one little drain at the front that has to be protected, or else this house floods. And when I was the councillor with the local council for Dalton, I managed to squeeze 2 new storm drains in, which helped. But we pitch black. Jumped out of bed, and you sort of like you're gathering your senses almost. And there was a couple of neighbours out, obviously really concerned because it was it was rising up and it was filling the drains up. The drains couldn't cope, and we fought with the word is fight. We literally fought Sunday night into Monday morning for 9 hours on our own. No emergency services, no fire brigade, no. Environment agency, no. Nobody, police, nobody could help. Melanie rang all of the emergency services. None of them would come out. So there was me and a group of neighbours who worked tight. I mean, they worked their backsides off all night to keep that floodwater from literally ruining. And that's the right word. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sat here now. They literally worked their backsides off for 9 hours or 10 hours even. To keep the flood water away. And the way they did it, we had to lift the storm drain culvert lids up to let the water flow in. And that wasn't enough. It was like a plug hole. You lifted it up and all the flood water went in. But even that wasn't enough. It couldn't cope. So we had to go to the top. And at midnight, I lifted one half of the drain up with a young gentleman across the road who was only 18. And that alleviated some of the problem. It maybe took about 5% of the flood water away, but it still wouldn't cope. And that's how bad it was. And we had to use brushes and brush continuously all night into the drains, the water into the drains using big brushes, brush, as you can imagine. And everybody, you know, the 6-7 people that were there were just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. A lot of people stayed in bed, which you wouldn't surprise you this day and age. But and then we lifted the top culvert up and diverted some more water into it. And I think it was by 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock in the morning, next morning, Monday. The water started dropping off and it backed off. And then, so that was a bit of a bad start and lost. I think it was 36 hours, wasn't it, before I went to bed? So 36 hours without sleep is a long time for me because I'm old. But then we got word the very next day that BAE Systems had a major fire in the, a few miles down the road. And my brother was on nights when it happened, and he was telling me the story today. Luckily, they got out. Only a few people went to hospital. But that's millions and millions of pounds worth of damage. However, that's just the way the world is now. It just seems to be one problem after another, doesn't it, folks? So, yes, there was a horrendous fire. Just absolutely horrendous. Right, folks, I'm just going to see if we can... I agree, but one way that works through is through customers that buy from you, passing it on to us. Yeah, no, that's right. I understand, Kurt. Yeah, it's a strange old trading world now. You know, things are changing considerably. And we've got to think of different ways of working now. You know, we don't see ourselves in competition with other shops, not like they do. You know, everybody fights for each other's sales, and it's dog eat dog. But we don't operate like that. I don't want to get involved in price wars or, I don't even want to get involved with competition anymore. I just want to do my own thing. If we can supply metal detectors and equipment to people, and they enjoy the products that we sell, and it keeps a roof over our heads, then, you know, how long that will last, I don't know, but it's all good stuff. So yeah, we had major problems. And when we had major problems last week, I thought, I mean, the business would have gone with it because we wouldn't have been able to, because we work from home now. We've got the warehouse and everything else, but it would have got, you know, all the houses down here would have got copped it. So there would have been families here that wouldn't have been here, if that makes sense. They're here now, but they wouldn't have been last week if we didn't lift them drains. And here's the weird thing: it was only one neighbour that had gone out at 10:30 at night. Everybody goes to bed early down here, I think, because not one person after that lady came out and noticed the floodwaters coming down, if she hadn't come out, we'd have been absolutely up the creek without a paddle. And not a single car came down this street all night until 4 o'clock when the milkman came down, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's the only person we saw. Absolutely incredible. So she saved our skins. We all saved each other's skins in the end. Right. So couple of things, folks. Let me just knock that off. Excuse me. We've got a mass of the harnesses arrived now, folks. So a lot of you would have seen that these new harnesses that people are buying for keeping their equipment in. We've finally got the big order that we were looking at that came in last week. So we're going to be stocked up now till Christmas, which is good news. So there's no more fighting about, are they going to be in stock? Because so many people were after them originally, and we had to keep saying they're coming, and people were getting bored, and we lost a lot of customers through it because they were just sick of, waiting for them, I guess is the right word. But they've arrived. That's the good news. They've arrived and they're here. So if anybody wants them leading up to Christmas, you know you're going to get one because there's plenty in stock. That's good. Excellent news. Craig, yes, you're right, actually. The community skillet that's an interesting one because it's a strange place, this. It's a mixture of young and old, and it's almost like it's a little bit like back in the Middle Ages, really, isn't it, Mel? The houses are built on like a medieval foundation, a medieval village, if you will. So going back 800 years, there have still been houses on these footprints, but there have been different houses. And I think the mentality sometimes is a little bit like that. And there's one or two neighbours that don't speak. There's one or two neighbours that have different political views than everybody else. And they had to speak to people. They had to come out and help save their own skins. And in the end, everybody sort of got on a little bit and started talking and mucked in. And, there was heartbreaking moments where we think one of the cottages may have got flooded. We couldn't tell because it was that dark. That's how bad it was. But everybody came together and the community spirit was bloody good. I mean, it was good. And then, Melanie came out, and Melanie's not well. You know, she's on a cancer treatment tablets, and you know, that hampers her energy levels. But you know, periodically she came out to help with the floods and liaise with, or try to liaise with, the emergency services, who just were completely non-existent. They told me to write an email to the Environment Agency or type one out, and I'll get a reply within 10 to 20 days. I mean, 20 days, wow. You know, where's all the money gone, folks? Where has all the money gone? That does make you wonder, where has all the money gone? Because they said we ain't got any money anymore. We ain't got any money anymore to deal with floods. And I'm thinking, all those billions and billions of pounds that this country's generated over the years with all the tax that they imply on people, and yet they can't help people when the houses flood. So you've got to beg the question, what not to get too political, of course, but it does beg the question, what are these politicians doing with our money? And a lot of it is going abroad to fight wars. I guess that, you know, do we really see a difference in any of it anymore? But a lot of the money doesn't come into the UK anymore, or it certainly doesn't get distributed fairly, I don't think. It's certainly gone, hasn't it? The money's gone, let's face it, folks. It's a strange old world. So yeah, fat cat pockets and shareholders, as Ron says, it's all pretty much a mess. But it's our own fault for sitting back and working too hard and keeping taking our eye off the ball. We've allowed it to happen under our feet, haven't we? We've allowed the political parties to get away with almost murder on our watch, and we've just let them do it. So you know what I mean? We've got to take some responsibility for allowing these people to do it in the first place. To trust them, I guess, is the right word. Right. So there's that going on. So yeah, we talked about this new Gadget TV channel. People want to subscribe to it, they're more than welcome. I think you'll enjoy it. There's some really good products on there that people can see that I use. We don't sell them, folks, so I'm just giving you my honest opinion about how good these things are. Let me just see what this is. Graham, do you have any Noctopulse type pinpointer cards? Yes, I do. I've got some in stock if you want one, David. Give us something tomorrow. I'll sort you one out at a good price. I think I've got one left. I don't know if it's a yellow or black, but I've definitely got one that goes on the end of the probes. So you're more than welcome, mate. I'll do you a good deal on it just to get rid of it. We don't sell much Nocta products anymore, mate, but I've definitely got that. Definitely got that in stock. Craig, yeah, it's more of a channel different to the Unearthed Detecting channel. Now, YouTube's a funny place. A lot of you people on here probably just watch YouTube, but you don't content create on YouTube, and really you're quite lucky. I envy you a little bit, because I was with you once until I had to get on board with YouTube. I had no other option really, because it brought a little bit of transparency to what we do. You know, people linked in with us via YouTube. But YouTube's a funny place. You can put content on YouTube and it's really good, and you can put a good thumbnail on YouTube and a good title. But if YouTube don't like it, then they're not going to promote it, they're not going to push it out. Now, the problem is with metal detecting is it's absolutely rinsed now. There's that many new YouTube channels coming out, and they're all pretty much the same, doing the same thing with the same thumbnails. And wow, look at this. You know, you've also got to have that little bit of clickbaity sort of title in there for people to capture people's imaginations in the first place, until you get to a really big channel and you don't have to do that. But I think YouTube don't really favour metal detecting channels like they once did. I mean, some are doing very well and they get thousands of views, and we sometimes get thousands and thousands of views, which is brilliant. But you'll put really good content out there, and I'm watching one or two channels that really do deserve to be bigger than what they are, and they're really struggling for views. I mean, I had one friend, he had 60 to 70,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a lot of people to tap into, and he got 500 views. I'm like, 500 views? It's very, very strange how it's going. Now, if you think outside of the box, well, if you're a dancer, a young lady that dances in very, very scantily dressed costumes on shorts and things, you get millions of views. And you know why? Because people, well, I'm not going to say why, but you know why. And a gaming channel, you know, if you're on these games and stuff, that seems to be popular with the young people. But if you put serious content out there, sometimes YouTube don't really recognize it. And I also think there's an element of people complaining almost about metal detecting YouTube channels, and they may actually, you know, put a complaint in about them. You know, the anti-detecting brigade. I think they do. I think they give negative vibes out there into the YouTube world for metal detecting, and it has an adverse effect, because some of these videos and films that people put out really deserve to have thousands and thousands of views because of the the sheer work that they put in, but it doesn't always work that way. Very difficult. And that's right, Dale. I agree with what you say. Sometimes YouTube is not worth the effort. I mean, our latest film is the worst performing film. The one from last week that we did, which has really good content. I'm not just saying that because I produced it myself. It has got really good content, but it's the worst performing video we've ever had in 3 or 4 years. You know, it's barely scraped 1,400 views. It's like, well, you know, with 13,000 subscribers, there should be a heck of a lot more views than that. And the reason is because YouTube are holding it back for whatever reason. So there you go, folks. So the good news is, I don't want it to sound like it's all woe is me at the moment with all these floods and fires and things. But we have got a number of new accessories arriving, folks, that I think a lot of people will enjoy. I can't show you them yet because they haven't arrived. We've designed these ourselves, we says, with with an element of trepidation. But the good news is these will be a popular hit, just like the harnesses are, the body harnesses, the detecting ones, the vests. These new products that we've got coming now, they should be here this week for me to test and put through the paces. Are going to be a big hit, so keep an eye out for them. I'll do a lot of promotional work on social media, or as much as I can. We're going to see if I can get a couple of free, a couple of free ones to promote, to give to people like Jackie and Dale, if they can promote them on their YouTube channels, because that's where people do it this day and age, isn't it? It seems to work that way anyway. So that's going to happen. Yours are always brilliant from Detector's point of view. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Craig. I appreciate that, mate. I really do, because you don't really understand how, or we don't understand. We don't necessarily get told it's good content. We just get lots of people that say, really enjoyed that. That axe was great. That hammered coin was nice. Whatever it might be. So thanks, mate, for that. The way forward then is to scantily dress while metal detecting. Yeah, but the problem is up here in the North, Kurt, you're going to get a chilly, you know what, pretty quick. I guess. What are we on? John Branner, good job it wasn't Scottish. Martin's here. Martin Davis, good to see him. Getting more and more people joining now, you see. I think they've probably found us, mainly on YouTube. If you can give us a like on YouTube, folks, or Facebook, that's great. Adrian Brown, Kaz Walton, Lawrence Hartley, Gary Mitchell, Kurt Upton, all very nice. Now, one thing I'm going to discuss with you, folks, is something rather interesting, I think. We run, me and Melanie run a farming group. Now, don't ask how we got involved in this farming group, but because we've got a flock of sheep of our own, and we've got hens and we've got a small holding, for some reason unbeknown to man and beast, we ended up running a huge farming forum, and it has its problems, because it's like everything in life. When you run social media forums, there's always going to be issues, isn't there? You know, it's tiring, really, but one day we'll probably give it up. But I got a message this weekend off a farmer from, I think he's from Lancashire. I'll have to do my research. And he has got some land that he wants Team Unearthed. He's aware of Team Unearthed, which is good. And he's got some land, I think, Bolton Castle way. I think that's in Lancashire, Yorkshire. And he'd be keen on the 800 acres that he's got for us to search it. Now, what stands out about that is two things, actually. A, it's not often. Are you on line there, Mel? Because my thing, because that stream's all over the moment, and that's streaming, isn't it? Thanks for that, love. One thing which is really strange is, yeah, you do have to have a license to keep chickens. I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? But they do want to know everything. They'll have a license to go to the toilet next. So a farmer reached out to me this weekend and asked if we want to come and search his land at near Bolton Castle, which is in, like I said, Lancashire, Yorkshire area. I'm breaking, Ron. Yeah, I've just sorted it out, mate. I hope. And what's unusual, we haven't gone to the farmer, he's come to us. So he's aware of Team Unearthed. He watches it on YouTube, which is great. And it's only probably, I could probably do it in an hour and a quarter, hour and 20 minutes from here, which is probably the same distance where we go anyway for a lot of the Team on Earth digs in the sort of Adrian's Wall country. So I'm thinking, it's got to be checked out. Very, very rare that we have a farmer come to us and say, listen, I've got land here. Do you want to search it? And some of the land is ancient. There's a medieval road running through it. On his other side of the road, he seems to think there's a Roman road somewhere nearby. So that's got to be worth a look, hasn't it? So it looks likely at some point we'll be coming out of our comfort zone, if that's the right word, our comfort zone as in Cumbria or the north or Adrian's Wall country or whatever we want to class it as, the borders. And we'll be venturing into another county. And I've always kept away from other counties, not just down to respect for other dig organisations and out there, but then I think to myself, well, we don't do rallies, we don't do commercial digs, we do Team Unearthed days where we have a hand-picked group of detectivists that go out and find the history of, and the farmer's very interested in the history of the place. So we're going to do it. So it's not as if I'm stepping on the feet of commercial rally organisations or organisers, because this land hasn't. I'm hoping this land hasn't been searched. He seems to think there's been one or two detectorists on it over the years. He'll have to speak to his father. But the vast majority of the land that he's got there, which, like I said, is about 800 acres, which is a big lump, has never been touched. So the people that live in Lancashire, and Yorkshire, that travel up to some of our unearthed digs, periodically, are going to have a bit of a treat, because they don't have to do that. They don't have to do it, do they, Mel? Like Melanie said today, she said you'll get a lot of people that you've probably never seen for a long time that want to literally on their doorstep. So it'll be good. It'll definitely be good. Definitely be good. So I'm going to keep you all posted on that, because I think it'll be interesting for people to see how we get on it. And if there is any history on them fields surrounding this particular farm, then I'm sure the Team Unearthed group will find it. I think we'll do our best to find it for him. We'll pay him for our, we'll raise money to pay him for the service, if that makes sense, for the privilege. We're not going to just jump on there free. We'll raise some money for him. But I think it'll be worth doing. I don't know if there's anybody else detected around that area. It's not Bolton Castle itself, but it's nearby. And I'm just hoping that it hasn't been hammered by other groups, and I don't think it has, because I think he would have mentioned it to me. Let's do it. Let's go for it. I was quite, after such a bad week and such a stressful week, there was a little bit of light there coming through, and I thought that's quite interesting. I think we'll go for it. What do you think? Oh, even John Branner said he'll be doing, and I don't know how long it'll be. So 90 minutes from Blackburn is 90 minutes from Blackburn. Is that north, Lawrence, or is that east, or is that south of Blackburn? I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Craig, you're right. A field is never done, and that is actually that brings me on to my next topic. I think is a field is never done. Craig said, and he's right. And the reason why Craig's saying that, and the reason why I'm agreeing with him, is because, and you'll see this very soon on the BBC One filming that we've just completed recently, that a field is never done, and we've proved that live on television that a field is never done. So in January, which will be probably towards the end of January, well, we're in November now, so it's not too far away. I'm just reading some of the comments. East of the Yorkshire Dales. East of the Yorkshire Dales. Right. I'll have to get east. Well, that's a bit further then. A bit further for me, 2 hours then, which is doable. Doable for 55 miles from Lawrence's house, so it's not a bad round trip. We'll probably do it. We'll probably give that some hammer. I think most of it's pasture, a little bit of arable. Anyway, I got sidetracked. But good information, Lawrence. Good information. The east of the Yorkshire Dales. Andrew Tiffin said John won't be stepping 1 foot in Lancashire. I love the banter between these guys. I mean, the banter is just up there, really. So the the filming that everybody's asking about, The Lost in the Lakes, is coming. It is coming, folks. It's going to be big, and I'm quietly confident that that you'll all enjoy it. And I think we are going to be on with BBC One prime time, 15 episodes, and some of it is detecting related, of course. Hence why myself, I'm privileged enough to feature in it with Dave Hilton and Kate and Shirley as well as detectorists, which I think is just amazing. We've got a very good group of divers that find things as well. But on one of the episodes, you'll see where we talk about a field is never done. Well, guess what? We proved it. So that's interesting. 3.5 hours from John Branner, so it's quite a distance. It's a 7-hour round trip, which is what I do from here to Lincolnshire when I detect in Lincolnshire. So it's quite a distance, John. But if you're up for it, mate, you're more than welcome to come, of course, because you're an esteemed Team on Earth member. So you're more than welcome. But it's a trek. So I think it'd be 2 hours from me, maybe 1 hour and 3/4, possibly. 180 mile, 3.5 hours from David Haggerty from Scotland. So it's quite a haul coming down the M6. However, with that much land, it might be worth seeing how we get on. And we could always organise another day's detecting on there if the farmer's keen on it. Due east of Kendal. Right, okay. So heading towards Sedbergh way, I guess. Due east of Kendal. Yeah, I know how to get to it now. Well, that's not too bad. 1 hour and 3/4 then. Yeah. The Romans thought that, and I still managed. So that's a bit of banter going on. Jim said today he was out detecting. He found some gun money. He said, "Where are we at, Jim? Where are we at? 108. No, you didn't say that, Jim. You said that. Oh, you know what it is? It's people are commenting. There we go. My finds today on fields detected by at least 2 detectorists. And, a field is never done. A field is never, ever done. And you've proved it, Jim, today, getting a bit of gun money, which is always nice to find. You've done really well. So Ricky's actually saying it's 1 hour 45 minutes from there, 1 3/4 hours, which is perfect. Some of the trips that we do are 2 hours. I mean, the Adrian's Wall dig a few months ago, if you remember, that took us 2 hours, even though we got lost, of course, which is just part of the course, really, because as a dig organizer, I shouldn't have got lost, but I did. So people were arriving before I did. And it's only because we took a wrong turn, and it was literally like wrong turn. Heavy metal detecting passion. I love that name for a YouTube channel. I think it's great. Heavy metal detecting passion. There he is, guys. He's already on. Say hi to him. And I think he is from Europe. I think he's a European guy. More than happy to have him on here. Right. So there's that. Some of you might have noticed as well. When we're talking about social media. Southern Europe. There we go. He's from Southern Europe. What part of Southern Europe are you from? Heavy metal detecting passion. I was going to cut it short and call you passion then, but Melanie might have given me a few dirty looks. Detecting passion. There you go. Some of you might have noticed as well over the last week or two that I put an relatively old reel, which is like a short video. Oh, Mediterranean, right? Okay, the Med. I guess the weather is a bit hit and miss out there at the moment, I guess. I hope you're safe. But I might be wrong. I might be getting my geography all wrong, but pirates of the Mediterranean. Yeah, well, there you go. Nothing wrong with being a pirate, as long as you're a legal one. Some of you might have noticed I put a post out, folks, a short video on It's Okay, that's good. That's good news. On Facebook, commenting and congratulating, really, is the right word, female detectorists, and saying, on the day back in the days when I started metal detecting, there was very few lady metal detectorists. It was all sort of middle-aged men. It was dominated by middle-aged men, and that's the way it was. It wasn't a closed shop, but it was a dominated white male hobby, I guess. And it's heartwarming for me to see so many female detectorists now, how well they do. Now, I didn't want it to sound like it was a competition, and it certainly wasn't meant to sound like a competition, that it was like male versus female out in the field. But what I was basically saying is, you know, flying the flag for the female detectorists. That's all it was. It was nothing more, nothing less. However, it went down very well, and people understood the post and said, yeah, we agree. You know, there's some really fantastic women detectorists out there, and they should be celebrated that they do a good job. And on our Team Unearthed digs, you know, you've got people like Jackie and Kate and Shirley and Anita and Jean and Louise, and you know, I could go and I can go right through a whole list of female detectorists that do a really fantastic job in uncovering history. And in a lot of cases, they do beat the men and give the men a bloody nose. And, you know, and it went down really well. However, for some bizarre reason, I started getting not a lot, but enough to cause concern is the right word. Group of lady detectorists that took offence to it. Now, you know, I tried explaining to a small group of these detectorists that it wasn't meant to be condescending. It wasn't meant to be, oh, you know your place. Us men, you know, are allowed to tell you, you know, when you can and can't detect or something. There was people saying, oh, it's like me going to the dentist and being told to sit in the chair and be a good girl and then speak when you're spoken to. You know, I was absolutely flabbergasted by the amount of flack off a small group of individuals gave me over that post. And in the end, I had to block a considerable amount of triggered individuals that took offence to that post. Now, at one point, I thought about taking the post down because it caused that much hassle. And then I found out later it was actually shared to a female detecting group that, for whatever reason, don't see eye to eye with me or Unearthed, and that's why this group attacked that particular post. Yeah. So I'm not going to take the post down. I've done nothing wrong. I think the vast majority of people understand that post perfectly well. That it was meant to celebrate the female detectorist and not be condescending towards anybody. It wasn't meant to be like as if I'd put a post on social media that would cause people stress, alarm, and offence. I was just completely gobsmacked by some of the comments. And the more I tried to explain, the worse it became, because some of these individuals were really going for it in the end. You know, they really got the bit between the teeth and started calling me all sorts of weird and wonderful names. And at one point, I actually thought, wow, you know, is social media really worth it? Because there's that many people out there that you only have to say one thing and they'll get literally, you know, they'll literally get offended by it, and they'll take offense where there's no offense there. They'll just make a make. Yeah, they're out for, like Melanie said, people are out for drama. They're just literally
that group are out for drama.
Yeah, they are. You're right. There is a group out there that is out for pure drama. And, you know, I've done nothing. I've got no problem with these people. I've got, you know, I've done nothing wrong, but they are out for a fight, and they're out for drama for whatever reason. But that, you know, it's just crazy. But even yesterday, I had posts on people commenting. You know, even this morning, so I've knocked the comments off now. You know, it was, you know, if I can't celebrate female detectorists and how good they are, then we're in a bad place, aren't we? You know, we are in a bad place, because a lot of people forget that I've been detecting for such a long time now that I seen the world as it was without any female detectorists hardly, and now there's so many of them doing so well, and that's exactly what I said. So I do apologise if it upset anybody, but it wasn't meant to do that, and I'm certainly not going to take the post down.
I don't apologise because it wasn't upsetting.
And Melanie's really got the bit between the teeth, because she said she doesn't apologise because she didn't find it upsetting. So there you go. That's good.
They're salty.
Melanie said the salty searchers. Melanie said. So there you go. But it is very, very difficult. It is very difficult keeping that balance of keeping everybody happy, isn't it, folks? But there you go.
And she's trying to come in our group today.
Okay, well, I might actually get Melanie to sit here, folks, and me disappear. But I've got, let me just put it on record. I have got absolutely no problem or no issues with the people that run that particular group I'm talking about. I've got no ill feeling towards them whatsoever.
I have now.
Melanie has now, but the reason why Melly's awesome. Somebody's saying Melly in the background. It's Rain actually from Scintillating Sounds. Melly's awesome, but I've got no problems with them at all. The people that run, the admins that run it, the group runners, I've got no problem with them at all. I don't want them on my digs, and there's perfectly good reasons for that, and that's probably where it's all stemmed from. But I've got no problem with it. So I think they're nice people, probably decent people, probably go about their job, do well. But what their beef is with me is unbelievable. I mean, they proper attack me. Not that I'm playing the victim, but I could do, couldn't I? I could get offended and be a bit of a flake. So there you go, folks. Don't apologise, mate, because my Mrs. Carroll can beat me hands down. Metal detecting, I'm telling you now, I see it, and Ricky will back me up as well. And the rest of them, even John and David Haggerty from Scotland and things, they'll back me up when they say, we see every week or every month how good these metal detectorists are, the female detectorists are, and they do kick ass. I mean, they are brilliant, absolutely awesome. And that's all it was. It was a celebratory post, and I actually made it about 18 months ago. That post, I looked a lot younger on that video than I do now, a lot less haggard. Well, that's the weird, wonderful way of social media, I guess. It only takes one person to twist things, and it all got twisted and nasty. And like I said yesterday, I was even getting nasty posts yesterday. I don't know if anybody recognised it or noticed it, but I took them down pretty quick. So there you go. Happy days. Let's have a look where we are. I know a few female detectorists that they have said they do feel a little bit overshadowed on digs with the ratio. Yeah, it is. It is. It must be a little bit like that. I mean, it's still, not 50-50 as in numbers, but boy, can they find stuff? Bloody hell, they can find some gear. I mean, Shirley, for example, and Kate and people like Jackie and Jean and Louise and that, and they and Anita as well. They can just go in fields and find all day long. But they don't stand around talking as much as men do, I don't think. I think the men have a crack and they talk about all sorts as well. Fishing's the same, yeah. Fishing's the same. I don't let Melanie have a go at fishing with my rods. And the reason is she can buy her own rod, but she ain't touching my rods. And the reason why she's not touching my rods is because A, she doesn't like catching fish, so she'd hex them. Witchcraft would probably kick in. So she'd have to buy her own rod. She certainly isn't using mine, so she can keep her. I'm going to keep her well away. And she doesn't like. And she doesn't like the idea of hooks being in fish's mouths and causing pain, and even to fish. I'm just getting shouted at. So if I'm keeping her. I'm not allowing her to touch my rods. She can buy her own. But I know she'd catch them as well. And then she'd start talking to them and stroking them. But mind you, saying that I'm getting a bit weird about fishing now. I can't kill fish anymore. Even though I'm an avid angler, every single fish I catch now are tricked with kid gloves. I make sure they've got no damage on them. I have to put them in a landing net. And I'm buying a landing net for next year. A landing mat to keep them safe because they bang their heads against the rocks and kill themselves sometimes. And I'll make sure they're clean. And I'm take one picture of them. I'm going to put them back straight away. There you go.
You don't like the hook in the mouth.
You don't like the hook in the mouth. You're right.
No.
You're right. That's it. We chat too much out there when getting stuck in. It's true, Craig. I mean, a lot of the men do stand around talking about football and fishing and all sorts of stuff. And then they get the phones out and show all the past finds from years ago. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Daniel, how do you pronounce your name? McGonigal. McGonigal, yes. How are you, Daniel? I always find it difficult as I'm getting older to break names up. So I used to break them into chunks. When I was younger, I didn't have any problems pronouncing anybody's name. But now, maybe I'm as thick as mince. Maybe I'm as thick as mince. That's what somebody called me, apparently. I was as thick as mince. There you go. Yeah, it's a funny old game, is fishing, isn't it? But there you go. That's happy days. So we've got plenty of people actually Lots of people actually following us now and watching now, which is good news. So we've got sort of half an hour left. If anybody wants anything to talk about, now is the time, folks. We've talked about the harnesses are in now till Christmas. That's it, done. Happy days. I don't have to bother about the worry and stress about these things coming in and people getting annoyed with me and Mel about them not arriving. They're here, so thank God for that. And we've got a number of new accessories on the way, and I'll share them with you very soon. And this is going to be the last live stream, folks, on this particular platform, because it's becoming far too expensive now for me to afford to keep paying this each month. I mean, if I told you it was costing me about 60 quid a month just to keep a subscription with StreamYard, it's just an absolute ripoff. So we're going to see if we can go onto YouTube live streams, which I don't think YouTube charge you for them. I think it's a free service. I think I'll have to look into it. We've also, what am I on about now? Our Gadget TV channel. We've got a sister channel, folks. So those that are just joining us, we have got a sister channel now on YouTube, which might be where we are. Oh, hang on a minute. I have to laugh, folks. I have to laugh. Melanie, I'm just going to, you can listen in the background. Mel?
Yeah.
Have a look on chat, Tidal chat.
Oh, no, I've seen
Oh,
it.
right, okay.
We
have a live chat going on. Anyway.
I've seen it.
That's directly from my website. That's the sister channel, folks. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you are. You can now. Woohoo! I've got an eye-watering 29 sub. What? Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'm speechless.
Oh, it's gone off. There you go. If you want to subscribe to it, do so. It's free, but it's going to be an interesting channel because there will be a little bit of detecting related stuff on there actually, because we do get from time to time asked if we can promote or test and review certain products, which we don't do on Unearthed. And the reason why we don't do on Unearthed is because some of the products are absolutely crap. So we're going to go down that route, folks. So if you want to join our new channel, you can do. Maybe Twitch. You could do Twitch. Mercy and Metal Detectorist is Percy, who's a really good guy, actually, folks. If you want to subscribe to Percy's channel, you can do. I don't know if the free version for me is any good, Percy. I tried a free version and they wouldn't let me do it. Anyway, I might have a look at it again. But I'm a bit unhappy about it, how much it's costing me, because we don't. You know, why would we just hemorrhage all that money for them? I don't know if anyone saw the lead intaglio I found the other day. So I managed to work the inscription. It's Apollo with an inverted S at the end, reading "so" backwards. So that could be Roman, could it? Andrew? Is it Roman? Possibly. I know you can't show me on the screen. Wouldn't it be good if you could show things on the screen back? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Well, you could if I invited people onto it. Anyway, you know what I mean. You posted that you can now be contacted WhatsApp. It's a specific number that you are using. Do you know what I did? And I had to set up a WhatsApp business app, and it wouldn't allow me to put my number in for some reason. I don't know. God knows why. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Heavy metal detecting, actually, detecting passion. Free is not always free. And I think that it'll be limited and it'll be probably glitchy or something. I don't know. This has been glitchy tonight. There's one coin found in Spain with the same image of Apollo seated on a rock with his lyre. It's really interesting find, and it has the FLO quite excited. Well, I tell you what, right? I've noticed the last month that you've been smashing it, Andrew. You've found some really good stuff. You're finding an array of things. You're getting silicas, Roman silver silicas, silica, as I call them, hammered coins, milled silver coins, artifacts. You know, even though sometimes I'm too busy to comment, and that's another criticism from some people. I don't comment on social media enough on people's posts, and the reason is I just haven't got the bloody time to do it. We've got that many groups going on and pages. We maybe have to get rid of a few. But I do notice I do keep an eye out of where I can and people's finds that they're putting up, and it's good stuff. It's all good stuff. So yeah, so going back again, just to recap what we talked about earlier, we seem to have secured some land at Bolton Castle, which is East Yorkshire or east of the Yorkshire. What did he say now? Because my memory's going. It was Lawrence, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's an hour or so from Blackburn, he reckons, east of Kendal. There we go, east of Kendal. So it's in that Yorkshire, Lancashire area, isn't it, on the borders possibly? But let's give it a go. Bolton Castle sounds interesting. The thing is, as well, with these farmers getting in touch, they understand what we do. So they understand we're not going to bring a load of people on that they don't know, right? They understand we're not going to be bringing on a lot of people that we don't know. And then they understand we're not commercial rallies where anybody can turn up, which is fine if you do that sort of thing, but we don't do it. And they want to uncover, they're quite interested in uncovering the history of their farm or their fields. And that's what Team on Earth does. It finds the history that's under the feet of the farmer's land and the landowner's land. And we obviously give them a payout for the privilege, which can't be a bad thing. So I'm looking really excited to it. It's out of our comfort zone a little bit, but I think Team Unearthed, the members on there, will quite enjoy doing it. I think they'll quite enjoy doing it. So let's give it a go. I don't know when we're going to do it. Whether we do it, we could even do it between Christmas and New Year, possibly. Would we want to be travelling that far? Yeah, probably would. Maybe a Christmas event, because it's going to be next month. It's hard to imagine that at the end of next month it'll be nearly the start of the new year, if that makes sense. So the end of next month will be one day away from 2025. That's how near we are to the new year. I mean, where has 2024 gone? I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, by the way. Neil French, good to see you. Hi from Darlington Northeast. Full half is on as well. Not far from Skipton, says Richard. So yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We also had one from, Chester, south of Chester. And I've still got his number wrote down on his email. He emailed me out of the blue asking if we could come and search his 330 acres. And I corresponded with him a few times. He was quite keen on us going to this south of Chester farm of his that he just bought it basically. And I don't know what the reasoning behind it was, but he was very keen on us to uncover the history of it. So we're going to do it. We might do that next year. Hello, Graham. Fish and chips tonight, then. I think you like fish and chips, Rain. And while you're on, how is your YouTube channel doing around sounds and things? You know, like relaxing. These YouTube channels that are into relaxing people. So you sit there and people will put their hands out as if they're touching your face and they'll start going like this, look. And then they have all this crackling, this noise in the background, like, I'm just, oh, hang on. And people sit there for hours on end listening to it and they go to sleep doing it. And they get millions of views doing it. ASMR, what does it stand for? But loads do it, don't they? Loads of people do it. I mean, I have a friend that has a YouTube channel on massage. He does sports massage. And of course, he does people with their tops off, lying on their front, and he massages the top of the heads and the backs, and he has a lot of views. Well, there we go. We have a bit of a dodgy live stream going on there. I've got you as a friend on Facebook. I'm Norman Winter, not to get into trivial over comments. Okay. Right. Okay, Daniel. Yes. So Norman Winter must be your name. I do see you. I think I seen you post up a Celtic gold coin once, if I remember. Nice to see you, Norman. I know you as Norman, but Daniel is Daniel is your name. Nice to see you anyway, mate. Let's have a look. Hello, Jax. Where we are missing them. Oh, the last one. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, we're going to give it a go. So Bolton Castle is on the cards. So what we'll do is we'll see if we can get a team together. There might even be a chance of bringing in some new blood. If we can't get enough people to make it viable, then we might just push it out there to other people that are, friends, supporters, customers of Unearthed that have not had the chance to potentially attend a Team Unearthed dig. Because we do keep a tight ship, as people know, but it might be an opportunity to meet some new people on it as well. I might just invite, there could be a dozen people, new people involved in it, if we can do it. It does take a lot of hassle, a lot of time and effort to do, as you can imagine. Anybody that's run a metal detecting event or day, or even a rally, or an organised dig or commercial dig, they'll know how stressful it can be. But yeah, we might just open it up to a few more. I wouldn't like to think that there'd be people coming up wanting to just jump on board and use Unearthed just as a tool to get on their digs, but don't really support us. It's not like that. It's got to be a bit of a two-way street, but I'm sure we could do it. What have we got going on? We've got folks, less than half an hour left. We've got mainly people watching on YouTube. Why we don't get people? Hang on a minute. Let's have a look. That's better. We haven't got many people on Facebook. Yet Facebook is twice as big. Following on Facebook is twice as big as YouTube. There you go, folks. Yeah, if I do a rally, I don't honestly ever think I'll be doing a rally. I mean, I could get away from a lot of financial woes if I went into the rally game. If I went into the commercial rally game, then we'd be sound, we'd be sorted. But I just can't bring myself to organising rallies where we invite a load of people that we don't know the backgrounds, we don't know where they're from, we don't know if they're going to be good detectors, bad detectors, they're going to make a mess, they're going to abide to the rules, going to keep on the same fields, they're going to do everything by the book. I just couldn't live with the stress of it all going wrong. And I see so many of these rallies and organised digs and festivals type, events that just end up being a mess. So I am going to be not doing rallies, I don't think, folks. What new channel to subscribe to is this one, Rain. I think you might like it. It's new. It's only been out a week. And I'm going to try my best to promote it alongside. There you go. We haven't got many subscribers, so don't laugh. But I'll laugh. Gadget TV channel. Can you see that? There you go. The Gadget TV. I don't know if anybody can read that. I might have to tip it. There you go. Anyway, Gadget TV. It was called Gadget TV, and then I had to change it to the Gadget TV channel. And the reason why is because there was already a Gadget TV out there. So there you go. I agree. I agree, Martin. I think I would hate it. I would hate it. I think I haven't got the tolerance. I don't think I've got the tolerance to deal with idiots anymore. I just don't think I have. I mean, we had a problem on the team, the original Unearthed organised digs going back a number of years now when we first set them off, and everything seemed to be great. And then we invited a couple of people on that were customers that bought metal detectors from us, and then automatically, they automatically sort of had the invite, if you will, onto our dig. And I knew they weren't right for us at the time because they were sort of, and without sounding snobby or anything like that, they just weren't the sort of people that we wanted to run with. But they automatically qualified for the digs because they bought metal detectors from us. So it was like, yeah, it was a two-way street, It's our way of saying thank you for their custom, I guess. And then, they went on, we opened up a really nice piece of land. I always remember it. And started producing finds from the Bronze Age right through to Roman Iron Age and then on to the medieval period. And there was all sorts of things on there. And the farm next door to it was literally going to be the next farm that we searched, because the landowner knew the farmer next door very well, and they were very interested in having us on to uncover the history on his land. But of course, these individuals that I invited on jumped over the fence and went into the wrong farm, knowing fine well it wasn't part of the farm that we were on, if that makes sense. It was out of bounds, but they ignored the out of bounds side of things and left the most horrendous hole open with a 3-litre bottle of Coke outside the hole. I mean, you know, this wasn't just one hole. There was numerous holes that were there. So of course, on Monday morning after the dig, you know, I'm tired after the dig. It's a hell of a day, you know, organising. But we had a great day, you know. We found lots of nice things. But I got a phone call that evening. That morning on the Monday, just before I started work, saying, "Oh, you better look on your WhatsApp." And I looked on my WhatsApp, and there was pictures of this hole that the farmer had taken, and the 3-litre bottle of Coke next to it. And I just went, "Oh no!" And I knew straight away who it was. Now, and that was just an isolated incident where we had to take action against it. But it's always difficult to sort of point the finger at the individuals that are doing it without causing hassle, and it can get a little bit tasty at times. And I've never been one to back down against anybody if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'll put my hand up and say I'm wrong. So we had to remove the individuals, and that caused hassle because, of course, then they put it out on social media and then they start slagging us off for doing it. And you just think to yourself, what is the point? What is the point of doing it? Now, you imagine running a commercial rally or a dig where you're opening up, say, 100 people, for example, on a couple of 100 acres of farming land. And you don't know who the people are. You've took the names and everything, and that could happen. That could magnify. That could be 5 or 6 people, right? That could be 5 or 6 people that do exactly the same thing as these did, and then you're the one person that's left with a hassle to pick the pieces up. Here's the worst part of that was the farmer was quite happy for himself to fill the hole in back. The sod was like out, you know, like 6 inches, 8 inches away from the actual hole he dug. So he filled the hole in himself and took the pop bottle away, but he didn't have us on. You know, that was going to be the next port of call. I was due to meet with him on the following Wednesday when I was off work to go and say, right, let's have a look at your boundaries. This is what we do. Shook his hand, meet him, have a brew with him, have a good crack. He can show me the boundaries and what fields he's got. He can show me the maps of the land. He can show me the layout of the land. He can talk about the history of the farmhouse and how old it is. And then we can organise where we're going to park. And it never happened. He banned us off. So we actually lost, a really good farm there. One day, I hope that I can go back and explore the possibility of going back on that farm. But, I don't think his view of metal detectorists and detecting was soured from that point. And he had cattle on there. He didn't have just cattle, he had prize sheep on them fields. And there was at least half a dozen holes that were dug out and that were in pretty bad shape. But not only that, I did hear a whisper that one of the guys had found a really nice Roman coin on there as well, which is like, what? So that is a problem with running these big rallies. So, I say to Melanie often, you imagine, we could make a lot of, money through Unearthed Business if we did rallies and organised digs, as in commercial. Charge people, whatever, put it through our books, whatever it might be. But I ain't prepared to do it. So I think handpicking the people that you know and trust is the way forward. And also in that mix, you've also got to get the people that get on together well. So they all mix as a unit, because the last thing you want to do, it's hard enough to organise these digs in the first place. The last thing you want is people falling out with each other, because that is the worst thing. So it might go some way of me explaining to you guys that are watching this why we do it like we do. And I hope that people do understand that we don't do commercial digs because of that reason. I mean, I'm never going to rule out a day when, I'm never going to rule out a day when we might have an open dig one day for people that support Unearthed and follow Unearthed, and we know through chats on Facebook and chats on YouTube, for example, or over the phone or whatever, we might just open up. But I ain't ever going down the route of doing rallies and organised digs. It's almost like selling my soul. And of course, I'm looking at some of these comments that are going on now, rather than me waffle on. Did I see Ron Stevens saying I heard a shark down here? A shark here down south was arrested for running false events on land without permission. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I did hear. I mean, you hear all sorts of rumours in this trade, and some of it is probably true. A lot of it will probably be a load of fabricated rubbish. But I did hear a rumour, a whisper, of a couple of people. Now, usually when you hear it more than once, there's maybe a little bit of smoke without fire. That there was a gentleman in question with his wife that was getting farmland for organised commercial rallies, detecting on the fields, detecting on his fields, or the farmers' fields first, with a few of them, and buying cheap coins from wherever and seeding the fields and the land. Seeding the fields and the land, and then letting them bed in for a couple of weeks, and then putting a commercial dig on, and people coming off saying, "Hey, you know what? I found 3 Roman coins today. Pretty good." And the reason why the lid got blown off it is because one of the marshals that was working alongside these 2 individuals, this woman and man that was doing it, ended up falling out with them for whatever reason, and then spilt the beans. But it all got a bit messy and it's died off a little bit now. But you think to yourself, you could actually imagine that happening, couldn't you? You could actually imagine a rally organizer who was a little bit rum buying a load of cheap coins and seeding the fields, and then saying, "Right, I'm going to let that field settle down now, but I've buried 30 Roman coins on it." And I just find that weird. I just find it absolutely weird. But you know what? In this world nowadays, greed is taking over. Everywhere you look, in every corner of society, greed's there now, isn't it? So it's not going to surprise too many people that it probably happens. It does, Lawrence. It does distort the history of the area, but I mean, it's not. In the 90s, it happened. Some of the really big commercial rallies in the 90s used to seed their fields with Roman coins. I know for a fact it happened because I found some of those Roman coins that were seeded, and some of them had traces of blue tack on the coins, and also had traces of sellotape, little sellotape squares where they've been stuck into, say, a collection or into a case, a metal detecting collection case. Somebody's obviously took them out and thrown them on the fields, and there was patches of them all over, and they reckon it was the rally organisers, marshals that were doing it, and that was way back in the 90s, early 90s. So yeah, of course it happens. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, what sort of metal detecting do we want to do? Do we want to do real proper metal detecting where we uncover the history of the farmers' fields, or do we want to be digging up coins that have been seeded by the organisers? It's crazy. I have to say, however, that the majority of rally organisers that I know do the job really well. So you've got Anthony over in the northeast. Is it Northern Detecting Events? He does a fantastic job. He puts people on land where they go on and they have the chance of finding some really nice coins and artifacts, and at the same time they're uncovering the history of the farm or that particular area. And there's a lot of really good organisers, lots and lots of really, really good organisers. But then there's always the element of a group doing things not by the book. So there you go. So we've got Darren is now saying he feels sorry for the detectives who planted the coin. They think they found a coin. Yeah, absolutely. And it's wrong. It is wrong. I mean, there's nothing better, is there, to go into a field and finding it. You know, we'll put an example out there. If you find a medieval silver penny, and if you find a medieval silver penny, you know that probably a peasant's had that in his pocket when he's been working the fields tirelessly, or she. They lost the coin 800 years ago, 700 years ago, and you're the first person to pick that coin up in all that time. To think and hold a coin and look at it, it takes you back. That coin was used to buy what? 700 years ago. Loaf of bread, 6 eggs, gallon of milk, whatever it might have been. It's just amazing. Time travel at the best, isn't it? You're almost going right back in time just by touching that coin. And to find a coin that's been planted and found before, or you don't even know the history behind that coin. It could have been bought. It could be out of someone's collection. It could be it could be from anywhere. You know, you're thinking to yourself straight away, hang on a minute, you know, this can't be right. The problem is it's that murky. When some people do it that way, it's very, very difficult to determine what's real and what's not real. So there you go, folks. It's a difficult world, isn't it, that we live in? Yeah, look, week's wages in some cases. You know, some of these coins, you know, some of the gold hammered coins, for example, you're talking 3 months' wages. I mean, it's just unbelievable, absolutely incredible. And you've also got to feel for the people that bloody lost it. Imagine losing 3 months' wages. You won't be able to survive in a lot of ways. Mind you, saying that they probably had the money on them in the first place to drop it, or rich enough to have it, because it wasn't the peasants that had the gold coins. Remember, the peasants had the cut quarters, cut halves, and pennies, and they were the ones that lost the hammered coins that you find in the fields. It wasn't the merchants, the princes, and the rich landowners. They had the big denominations. Easy for me to say. Right, folks, we've got less than 15 minutes. Anything you want to talk about now? We do this always at the end of this session. Anything you want to talk about now, let's go for it. If not, we can talk about anything, basically. So the Mercian Percy says, I always think about the peasant's wife battering him for losing that penny. Well, you know, the medieval people were very clumsy. The Romans were bloody clumsy as well, because they lost a lot of coins. But the medieval people, they were clumsy. They were clumsy people. They were. The pockets can't have been that good, the Percys. But the Percys must have been pretty naff. But you've also got to think about one thing about it. And I did a lot of study in early doors years and years ago about, I was fascinated with the medieval period. And I still am. The problem is there's that many periods now, isn't there? You love the Roman period. Oh, hang on a minute, I love the Bronze Age period. But actually, that Iron Age period is something else. But the medieval period stands out for me because it was a time where there was a lot of change going on, and you can find a lot of really nice medieval coins and artifacts. However, you've got to think of it when you think about the coins that you find. So Jim Black, he's a great guy, Jim, by the way, one of our great Team on Earth members. When he finds a hammered coin, he'll probably be like everybody else and think, who lost it? Why was it lost? How did they lose it? And you've got to think of that the people that lost it had their belongings probably out in the field with them. They were probably too, not paranoid, but too cautious to leave it back at home. It was probably vulnerable in a lot of ways. So they probably kept 2 or 3 hammered pennies in their pockets while they were working tirelessly in the fields. And they weren't just, working the fields for crop rotations and crops and everything else. They were out there hunting for food. They were out there gathering firewood to keep warm. You imagine the amount of firewood that they must have had to gather for winter would have been phenomenal to keep them fires going, because that was the only source of heat that they had. They didn't have central heating like we did, and double glazed windows. So they had pretty much had their money out with them in the field. So it was inevitable that they were going to lose it. And the grass and the conditions of the fields wouldn't have been like what we detect on flat, bare earth. The grass would have been long and patchy, and some of it would have been over ankles. Some of it would have probably been knee length in some cases, if the cattle hadn't nibbled it down enough. And you imagine dropping a silver penny, right? Get this. If you imagine dropping I'll tell you what, we'll go one stage further. You imagine dropping a half-cut hammered, right? The size of a half-cut hammered, you drop that in long grass just as it's getting dark, right? And you're 50 years of age, and you've got none of these. Your eyesight's going, right? Your eyesight's pretty naff, right? Because you're 50. You've got no glasses, so your eyesight's not very good, and you're scratching around on the grass looking for that art. You ain't going to find it. You ain't ever going to find it. That's why they get lost, because it's so difficult for them to retrieve at the time, because the grass and the conditions of the fields would have been all over the place. Some of them would have found them again. But then, of course, you've got the cattle walking over it afterwards and trampling them down. And sooner rather than later, them coins are going to be buried and long gone. And it's only people like me, you, and everybody else that goes out with metal detectors has that opportunity, that little window of opportunity to bring them back to life and find them again and show them sunlight, daylight. Absolutely incredible if you think about it. But Anita says the right thing. You know, she says the right thing. You know, you learn so much about history when you research the fields. The finds of the fields come alive in your mind, and they do. It's absolutely amazing to see how many footprints have been, or to think how many footprints have been behind you all those years on these particular fields. And you're bringing the history literally back to life. But they had very little chance of finding those coins, especially at dusk. And, you know, say what you want, there would have been some really horrific, harrowing stories behind a lot of the losses that we find. Make no bones about it. These aren't just, we ain't just finding common losses out in the fields when people are tirelessly working the fields with an ox pulling the wooden plow or whatever it would have been at the time. You know, there could have been reasons why people were fleeing at night from raids. And you drop a coin at night in the dark in a longish field, a pasture field, you ain't ever going to find it. If you find, you know, if you drop a handful of them, you ain't going to find them. And Darren says the same thing. You know, if we miss them, we still miss them with detectors, so you've got no chance of finding with your eyes. It seems to transport you back in time. Imagine the poor Bronze Age person losing their axe. See, I think axes are a little bit different in so much as I think they were chopping that much and pegging back them woods to make the land available for grazing animals, that, you know, if it's strapped to a bit of wood or a handle, eventually that axe is going to work loose and it'll fly off. If it flies off in any direction, again, it might be very difficult for them to find it. But I think they might have had quite a lot of axes at their disposal as well, John. I think they probably made quite a few. I think they probably had more than one or two at their disposal that they could just pick up and start using again. What is the best artifact? What is the best artifact you've ever found of all time? Is another channel for live stream and what you're doing for Bonfire Night. Bonfire Night, I ain't doing anything. I can't be bothered with watching all them fireworks anymore because I'm getting old. I can't be bothered with all that noisy bangers and stuff. Catherine wheels, I don't mind them. Rockets, I don't mind them, but they're too bloody noisy for me. So Bonfire Night, I'm not doing anything. Is there another channel for live stream? No, but I might do it on YouTube. Live stream via YouTube is available now. I think you can do it via your mobile phone. Whether we're going to get the same interaction or not, I don't know, but we'll give it a go. Artifact-wise, I don't know. Roman gold rings, I found them. They're nice. Spearheads, axe heads, they're nice. Roman brooches are nice. Everything's nice, really, isn't it? Everything's got its place. The eagle was nice. The linchpin I found. Posy rings are nice. Just like finding anything, really. I often think when I find a hammered, what is the impact of them losing it? Oh, absolutely. I think it would have hit them. I think it would have hit them hard. Be under no illusion. I think they would have been hit hard by losing. I think it would have been when you find a purse bill or a potential purse bill. You know, where you find a small group of hammered coins, maybe 5 or 6. I think that would have had a bit of a bad impact on these people. I think they've had to, wearily gone back to their Wattle and Daub home and maybe asked a neighbour for a bowl of broth. You know, they would probably struggle for food. But I think everybody mucked in there. I don't think there's any of this them and us, or us and sort of. Yes, we're back. Sorry about that, folks. We had a really bad lag. Shouldn't be, because this is fast broadband here. No, maybe I should go to that Starlink if I could afford it. But I think in those days, in medieval period, I think the neighbours were much better. So they lived in these little medieval villages. And I think if one household struggled, I think the neighbours would make sure that they had enough to eat. You can just imagine these big cauldrons of broth and soup on the go pretty much all the time, can't you? With these big ladles. There you go. That you can have that one. And they just kept topping it up with fresh produce. Just the same as the fires, I guess. I don't think the fires ever went out because we haven't got they didn't have matches in them days where they could just go like that and put a firelighter in a bit of paper and it comes back to light. I think they pretty much kept them fires burning all the time through the winter for obvious reasons. Why would you want to go cold? How many silver hammered have you found over these? I'm approaching 1,000, Dan, but my detecting, I'm approaching 1,000, but I'm not quite there yet. But my personal detecting's gone right down the pan. I just don't get the chance to go out anywhere near as much. Running unearthed is just too tiring for me. Organised digs are too tiring as well. And I just, something had to give. So I'm going to, 2025, I'm going to make sure I spend a bit of time for myself to get back out because I'm missing finding hammered. I bet I've only found about 4 or 5 hammered this year. I managed to get a really rare one way back in sort of February, March, but I need to get out more and find more. I do. Where are we at? I wonder about the fibulas, how many of those were tossed as general. Yeah, probably pretty true, maybe. Some of the small fibulas that you find, the really sort of common, not unworked ones, but really plain ones. I think they might have just tossed them away. Pretty much like the little Roman coins, like our half pennies. People throw the old half p's away, if you remember them in the 1970s and 80s, just discarded them. I think the little bronze Roman coins, once that emperor died and it gone on to a new emperor, and if that old emperor wasn't in favour, they probably just tossed them away. Oh, that one it's not exactly an underwater one. It's a detecting one as well as diving, and that's going to be around about the 25th of Jan. I know it's about a couple of months away yet, but that's coming down. It's running down quite quick. So that is going to be a big hit. That I know it's going to be a really big hit. I watched the pilot of it and I thought, wow, that is just awesome, and it's just going to get better. I mean, the pilot was pretty much, I can't give too much away, but it was very, very emotional actually, for obvious reasons. But the detecting ones, they hadn't even kicked in at that point, and the stuff we found was incredible, really, under the circumstances. Well, you know what we were, the task that we had, and of course we had COVID. I had COVID, and Dave had COVID, so we missed a couple of days filming. But hugely enjoyable experience for everybody, and I think a lot. I mean, here's the problem we're going to have. You can just imagine, right? When this goes to screen, we're going to get trolls, and I don't deal with trolls very well. That is the problem. That's going to be an issue. Is when it goes on the BBC, the vast majority of people are going to really enjoy it. But thinking back of the Great British Treasure Hunt, when we were on ITV, we got a lot of trolls. Now, I don't know if these trolls would have been the same if they got invited to spend a day's filming. If we invited those trolls before they went online and trolled, I bet they would have jumped at the chance of doing it. Because they were involved in it, they sort of wanted to troll. And that's what we're going to have to be careful of. There's no, how do I put it? There's no degree of training against trolls that you could ever have. You've just got to deal with it as an adult in the best way you can. And the best way you can do it is don't react. Because if you react, you feed them, and their low lives become somehow elevated. The best way to deal with them is block and move on and ignore. So I'm bracing myself for that. But I know for a fact the vast majority of people that are going to watch it are going to really, I mean, they're going to really enjoy it. Unless I'm biased, but I'm not, because I know it's going to be good. Even if it was a group of other detectorists in it, I would always sit back and enjoy it and watch it for what it is. But because you're in it, because I'm in it, obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased, I guess. But it is going to be enjoyable. It's made for people to enjoy at the end of the day. It's not made for people that's like me to sit back and say, oh, look at me on telly. I'm not bothered. That's gone now. Been on telly enough over the years to realize that it is what it is, and it's there for people to enjoy. It's not about a personal. It's not about one person. It's about a team of people doing something that they enjoy doing. So I enjoy it. I think I'll enjoy it. I do apologize for some of the streams going down a little bit. Where we at? No, I don't think fame will ever come. As in, I mean, what do you class as famous? You know, if you star on television 30 times, are you famous? I don't think so. I think you've got to be earning big money and you be on television all the time and being top of your sport top of the game or whatever you do to become famous. But me starring on television, featuring on television in mini-series is not going to be. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to bring fame, and that's good, because I think fame has a lot of its own problems, really. Right, folks. I think if anybody's got any more questions, let's go for it. But we can sort of draw it to an end now, if you want, because I think it was worth doing this live stream tonight, not only to give you the information that's gone out there, but oh, Darren's put one good. I'm behind on the chat, by the way. It's surprising how many people live next to each other for years and don't know each other these days. It was much more neighbourly. We know it was. I mean, to be fair, let me think about it. Years ago in the 70s, we could go out of our house when we were kids and leave. And my mum and dad could go out. You could literally leave your front door open. Can anybody remember them days? Can anybody remember the days when they went out in the neighbourhood, out of their neighbourhood, leave the front door open, and not have the worry of being robbed? But now you can't do that. You've got to literally lock everything. Cars got to be locked. Houses got to be locked, or some scrot will be in, because it's just the way of the world now. And I think neighbourhoods now, it's very much dog eat dog. Look at the, keeping up with the Joneses at number 10, because they've got a Porsche on the drive or a big Mercedes, and people can't afford to live the same as that person, so they get looked on and frowned upon, even though they probably work anyway. It's all that kind of stuff. Different days now, mate. Different days. It's very much dog eat dog. The human spirit is being drained from people, and the human spirit has been not just drained from people, in my opinion, but it's also been drained from neighbourhoods and communities. Very, very hard now to find neighbourhoods that get on very well. Yeah, your mum would have said the same. Absolutely. I can remember my mum leaving the front door open of the house, then coming back and just walking in, and no problems. But there was no, exactly, no television. I mean, I watched a young lady today, right? Quite attractive young lady pushing a pram across the main road here, and she walked right across the main road with a mobile phone, walking right across the road, and she didn't even look at the traffic because she was glued to a mobile that much. Now, my mobile is there, look, and I'm pretty much glued to this because of business 9 to 5, but at tea time I put it down. I don't answer messages after 5, 6 o'clock now. I don't do it. But it's the problem you've got is we live in a social media world now where people are constantly wanting to be entertained. And you look at TikTok, they did some reports, analysis on people's attention span. And because of things like TikTok Reels and Shorts and these short videos, people's attention span started getting squeezed. And it got squeezed almost down to the attention span of a goldfish. So people are on TikTok constantly watching 15-second, 30-second snippets of films, and they're wanting a quick fix again, so they're going to the next one. And then that 30-second goes, and they won't go to the next one. You put a film out of 20 minutes, you ain't going to watch it because they're getting, hang on a minute, the brains are already tuned into these 15-second, 30-second reels and shorts, and that's all people want. They want that fast buzz. And I think if you watch people now in towns and cities, they pretty much walk around with their mobile phones glued to them now, don't they? So they've done, whoever invented the mobile phone and how it was presented to the population, done a bloody good job, because they've got everybody addicted to them. I mean, my mobile phone, I have it in my top pocket, right? And it starts giving it the old buzzing all the time with messages coming through. I've got to a point now where I just ignore it, and I'll pick them up maybe at dinner time and say, all right, yeah, I've got 5 messages there or 10 messages. I ain't going to be glued to that mobile phone, ruining my life if I can help it. But yeah, you've got to, it's changed. The human spirit, mark my words, and it might sound a bit crazy, but I think the human spirit has been pretty much drained from every walk of life now. It's pretty much dog eat dog. I remember going into business way back in the 90s when I was a young lad, and I set up a recycling business, and that opened my eyes then how other businesses interacted and worked against you in a lot of ways as competitors. But it was nothing like the world of metal detecting. I went into the world of metal detecting with sort of that smile on my face, eyes open wide, thinking everybody would get on. and it's cutthroat. It's dog eat dog. You know, it is pretty much cutthroat. You wouldn't believe some of the actions and the stuff that we've had to put up with over the years because we just sell metal detectors. Wow. I mean, you know, groundbreaking, isn't it? You know, selling a bloody metal detector to survive. It's crazy. But some of your competitors are that cutthroat. They want your sales and they want to see you finished quick. They didn't want us. They did not want Unearthed to happen because they'd been established for 30 years, sat back. You know, we've been here for years selling metal detectors. We're the only ones that can sell metal detectors. When a new kid on the block comes in, and we've been around for 12, 13 years, maybe 13 years now, long time. And still, we're probably seen as the new kid on the block in a lot of ways. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Right, guys, I'm going to go. And we are all pawns for tax, exactly. And I think the more we concentrate on ourselves and the life that we lead, and work is just you know, something to do to keep our roofs over our, nothing more, nothing less, then the better we are going to be. If you get too enthralled in it all and get too bitter about the things that we get involved in work-wise, it's going to be a slippery slope. Right, guys, good to see you all. I'll be back. I don't know when I'll be back. I do not know when I'll be back on the live stream, but we'll be at some point, folks. I don't know who it will be with, whether we're going to be doing it off YouTube or these lot at StreamYard, which I'm a bit disappointed with StreamYard because it's been really bad tonight, blocking up. It's been, I mean, I'm checking on my, where are we at? Oh, it's not telling me anymore. There was a little icon that came up telling me my speed of me internet and everything, saying it was all good. Well, it wasn't. It was stopping and starting and spluttering all over the place. Okay, guys, you take care, everybody. Have a great evening, and I hope you all have a good week as well at work. Bye for now.